Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is IT in the D.
Welcome back. Thank you once again for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D show. I'm your host, Bob Waltenspiel, hanging out with co-host, producer extraordinaire, Randy Walker. Guest this week, Tim Burke from Tim Burke and Burke Associates.
There you go.
It's
the Burke Group.
The Burke Group.
Formally. Yeah.
Actually, he's got a great origin story. We haven't done one of those in a while. And we're going to be talking about some, little bit of AI, little bit about manufacturing. He kind of cut his teeth in IT and manufacturing floors. And we haven't had that topic. I don't think we've ever talked about it. So I'm going to ask a lot of dumb questions and you're going to answer them. And
I'll give you some dumb answers.
I appreciate that. And you can find us online at itinthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials. Subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
We just had a meetup last week. Went really well. It was
Fantastic.
here in Detroit. The next one is November 20th, 5 o'clock at Bar Louie in downtown Royal Oak.
When's Thanksgiving this year?
The week after.
Oh, so we're good.
We're good. It's week before Thanksgiving.
All right. And we're going to do December back here at the shipping company. Or are we going to skip?
Yeah.
I think we skip. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
And then Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor to be determined.
To be determined.
Don't have a date yet, but we'll get one soon.
Come on, Greg. Get with the program. Yeah, but I don't think we've posted them online, so we'll get that.
They'll probably be up by the time you're listening to this. So,
cool. Tim, how you doing?
I'm well.
We were at the SIM event all day today.
That's right. The Michigan Technology Leadership Conference, right?
I think it is. Yeah, a lot of everyone talking AI. Is it what's the word? Is it? I was gonna say bullshit or legit, but I'll just say, is it bullshit or legit?
You know, it's interesting. I think one of the speakers today was mentioning specifically, it's not finding a use case for AI, it's finding a business problem for AI, right?
Right.
And I think therein lies the challenge. You know, you've got companies and organizations that are still not putting the proper guardrails around how to implement, how to release, what to tackle, what to go after. So I think it's a lot of hurry up and wait right now. I don't think there's a lot of active stuff going on.
There's a lot of active stuff going on. I think, do you think it, we'll get into that in a second, but I want to, is this like cloud in CIO magazine in like 2000? 100%. I'm thinking in 9, we're like, we need,
well, yeah.
And they're like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was SaaS before that, right? Everything was SaaS. Got to have a SaaS application. Can't be, software on premise. And then the cloud, everything pushed to the cloud, right?
But then look what happened. So this is another thing I want to ask you first. AWS outage yesterday.
Yeah.
Everything's down.
Yeah.
Everything's down. My daughter's Canvas was down for college.
Yeah.
What apps were you? Do you have any apps that hurt? Like Nest was down, I think.
Yeah. Nothing impacted me directly. I want to say some like phone cloud systems were down But then you think about it, and it wasn't like at the end of the day, it was DNS.
That's what it was, right?
Yeah. Because you're like, the way cloud is architected, you're like, cloud can't go down.
That's right.
Because there's 1,000 redundant paths.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with DNS?
Human error.
It's always DNS.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah. 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 I don't know.
Right.
No answer for that.
I mean, the DNS system is how old? It probably just needs some sort of modern upgrade or replacement.
There you go. There's the AI DNS. There's the new business model. But everything, it feels like AI, I don't want to say AI has been bastardized yet. Because MIT came out with that study that says, like, I forget what the number was. Was it 95%?
Crazy.
Are seeing zero business failure because they're just turning it on.
Well, they're saying 95% of the projects have failed, right? They've they've started something and they haven't completed them, right?
Right.
And I think it's for a lot of reasons. They're not pointing the arrow at the right target, probably. You've got security issues, concerns about your data.
Bad data.
Right. So I think a lot of companies, and it was fun. It was interesting. We say we're going to talk about manufacturing today. I think that's one of the bright spots as far as applications for AI right now. They echoed that today, because they have a better handle on, it's a closed environment. They know what they're manufacturing. Yeah. They got their bombs and their data. They've worked with data. That's what they do.
Not to get too far ahead, but like one of the projects I worked with at day job was we took the user manual for KUKA Robotics. You had history with them. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they basically digitized the entire thing, put it on whatever laptop these floor engineers had. So when something broke, they would say, hey, here's the problem. And then basically
just do like a full word text search in it or something.
Yeah, it basically would come up with, hey, here's the 3 things we think
Yeah.
could be A, wrong, B, how to fix it,
Yeah.
without having to flip through the manual, go through a process.
Yeah.
I think in those cases, AI is fantastic.
It is,
where you can speed
Yeah.
to that's what I call speed to value. But like, I think that agentic is a word I hope I never hear again in my life. I just said it.
Yeah.
Ring the bell on that one.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, like when it's again, if it's done properly, that's months and months and months and months and months of training.
It is.
This is not something where you just plug in a user manual and you can get something that's proper. And then do people even want to talk to it?
Yeah.
We looked at like call center and having like I don't want to say Copilot because that's Microsoft, but like I always call these like R2D2s, where you have an R2D2 that's listening and prompting with like, okay, here's something you should be talking about. Here's a fix. Here's some can look it up for you. And again, stuff like that, I think fantastic. I think it's been overblown. I think it's been overused, and I think it will get there.
Yeah. We've got a runway. There's a runway ahead of us for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And another point came out today too, just as the cloud was erupting and SaaS software companies were erupting. There's so many startups that are trying to put their claws around AI and what solution they're going to bring to you, right? And that's another pause for a lot of companies too. Like, why am I going to hitch my wagon to you guys? Are you going to be around in 6 months?
They're all looking to get acquired.
Yeah. Well, they are.
I mean, how many pick your word .ai companies, and you're like, it was kind of like the .com boom where like everyone rushed and there's all these words, and then they started making up stupid 2 words merged. Then there was 3 words. Covansys, I remember, was one of the dumbest company names I've ever heard in my life. Sorry if I know they're local. I'm not sorry. It's a horrible company name.
All of these businesses should be features that another business offer. Like, I'm not using 18 different services just because you're selling your own unique twist on it or whatever.
That's right.
I want one company that does all of these separate things.
They're all trying to get acquired.
Yeah.
So they're doing startups. Jake Brown, the guy at our keynote today, was funny. He's like, I spent all this time, I mastered ChatGPT. And he goes, well, what about Claude? He's like, God bless America. And I think that's another problem too, is like, who was I talking to? I go, Grok is really good. And they're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I started talking about like notebook, lm.google.com, which is a fantastic tool because you can dump in multiple. And they're like, what the hell is that? So like everyone gets accustomed to like your flavor of choice. And now all of a sudden there's the flavor du jour of the week.
Well, when do you pivot and go someplace else, right? If you're seeing decent results where you are, why am I going to Perplexity or whatever these other?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's 73 search engines now, and they all lead back to the same.
Yeah.
But where are they getting their data from? That's and no one tells you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was the Tommy Boy, like the guarantee on the box. Well, what if the guarantee fairy is a crazy glue sniffer building model airplanes? You know what I mean? Like we don't know where the data's coming from.
Right.
Right. Which is the whole point of this thing.
Yeah. Well, that was the whole thing behind OpenAI, wasn't it? I mean, let's get everybody on board and start asking questions and dumping information into it and start training it, right?
Where were we at, Randy? I said AI is just a really fancy search engine, and this guy looked at me like he wanted to murder me. The look on it was just pure anger and disdain.
Yeah, you have no idea.
You work for Google search?
I don't know. No, I don't know if he was an AI person or something. I don't remember what event we were at. Oh, he was so angry with me when I said that. I go, that's all tell me it's not.
That's what most people use it for, I would say, is, instead of coming through search results, you just ask AI and it collaborates. And
the commercial tells you that. I want to go on a road trip. Give me an itinerary. And it's like, here's the shit you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fancy search engine. You got a pretty cool origin story. I think most of us that have, got a little gray in the beard have seen some things.
I've been there and back.
You started off, what was the 1200 baud modem? You were selling databases.
Oh my gosh. I used to lug this dumb terminal called a Ubic computer for LexisNexis. Me Data Central was a company that owned it back in the day.
Are you talking like the Pursuit of Happiness, like that box that Will Smith had?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
What the hell was that box that he was selling? I forget.
I don't know what he had. I'm not sure.
It was like an IBM box.
It was.
I don't know if it was like a
grid computer or something. I'm not sure what it was.
So what the hell was the?
But same kind of thing. So the idea was, Me Data Central out of Ohio put together a database of case law, right? And that's kind of where they started. they had a deal, I think, with the New York Times, so that the New York Times and the news side was the Nexus side. The legal side, the case law, the public domain information was the Lexus side, right?
Yeah.
So that was all kind of building. And, I was fortunate to kind of get into that organization as a really fresh technology company in 1988, right?
Right.
I mean, so it was quite a while ago, but I was working with the corporate legal departments, the prosecutors'
You didn't even have
offices, the
AOL
courts.
then.
No.
Yeah, I'm thinking back because I know how old I was when in '88.
Yeah.
I didn't get AOL till I think I was. Don't tell anybody. I think I was 18.
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
I was old.
AOL was already kind of on the downslide.
Long in the
when I
tooth by
started.
then.
Oh yeah, I figured.
It was like when all the local ISPs sprung up for cheaper.
I did my first AOL was on a 14.4 modem? I think it was.
It probably was.
Because it was my dad wouldn't buy the 56K because it was too expensive. So I got the
Right. Hilarious. So yeah, I slept around this big ass this dumb terminal, kind of in a roadie case, on wheels.
Right.
I'd wheel it around the city of Detroit, taking it to the different offices and show them this new technology and plug it into their phone line, and we dial up a telenet to get that connection. Acoustic coupler. Do you know what an acoustic coupler is?
Was that where you put the phone in the thing like War Games?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we had that, You'd be dialing, waiting for that beep, and you jam it in there, and that would make our connection. So yeah.
So what the hell? What were you even? What was it? Was it like the?
It was a database.
Right,
You saw on a database.
like Dewey Decimal System, like for legal. Is that kind of?
It was all the case law. I mean, the argument was, and it's a pretty clear one, right? If a book is missing on the shelf in the law library, you can't find the case, right? Let's computerize, right? Let's digitize case law and statutes and the Constitution and everything else, right? And so, yeah, it was a different way to retrieve case law, right? And cite case law for courts.
Right.
So I did that for about eight years, and had a fun time with it. I mean, I met some really awesome people, particularly in the city of Detroit. I worked with Dennis Archer when he was a Supreme Court justice. A guy named Miles Wall. Miles was an appellate court judge. I don't think he wasn't the chief. Martin Doctoroff was the chief at the time. But Myron Walls was a jazz keyboardist and also a judge. But he would tour with the jazz musicians. He died early from cancer, I think.
See people at Baker's Keyboard that he put in jail 2 years ago.
Right, exactly. But he was awesome, man. Fun to work with.
So so you kind of worked your way through.
I did. So I stayed in the technology lane. The company got purchased by a Dutch publishing company, and I got an opportunity to go to Chicago, decided against it. And then I wanted to stay local in Detroit. A buddy of mine had an automotive business doing technical writing, and I got into that for a few years. Right?
Okay.
And so I stayed in that lane until really the internet kind of opportunities popped, right? And a buddy of mine, his brother, started a company called Storage Networks, right? Storing information in the cloud, right? And
shared hosting back then, or was it cloud already?
that was cloud.
Okay.
It was cloud.
I sold shared hosting.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which was like right when VMware broke.
Yeah.
This was 2001, maybe.
Yeah. So we went and, Steve Bell was the guy that I was working with at the time. He's like, dude, we got to figure out some kind of solution. And initially he wanted to do a marketplace, kind of like Covicent, right?
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of jumping. And it was the timing of Covicent as well. But he's like, no, we got to come up with an application. Let's do something and connect to ERP systems to extend the data outside the four walls, right? I mean, ERPs were kind of built for within the four walls.
Sure.
But the data in there was useful for the suppliers. So we kind of, and back then, and it's still an issue today, all the automotive OEMs want everybody to be on EDI, right?
Sure.
So you can get electronic forecasts, right?
Yeah.
And it was
that precursor to ANX.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, for companies to buy their trading partner codes and all this bullshit, that they wanted to have, it was expensive. It was $100,000 a year just to be EDI compliant with your tier one supplier if you were a tier two folk.
Right.
So we came up with this application and had a great developing team out of Santa Barbara, California, a guy named Brian Fox who wrote Bash, which was the Unix shell.
Okay.
something like that. He wrote the first online banking system for Wells Fargo. That was his claim to fame. But and an awesome bass player too. I don't know if you've known a lot of developers who are just great musicians, and I think it's because of it's the mindset, right? But anyway, Brian wrote the application, I think, in about 4 months, and we were pitching it up in Traverse City at the management briefing conferences. Steve Bell and I on two 19-inch, tube monitors, right? Pitching iSupply, which was our product. So we tapped into the ERP systems of the tier 1 supplier and extended the information to their suppliers as to what inventory levels they had. We set up electronic Kanbans, things like that.
What were they doing before that?
It was paper-based, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And they get faxed forecasts.
I would say calling and
my God. Yeah.
You wonder if the world would be a little simpler if we just went back to paper.
Oh my gosh.
I talk about it all the time. Take a little bit longer. So from there you went to...
From there I went to, I went to a company called, I went to Servigistics. So I got recruited out 1999, the bubble burst at Supply Solution, which was the company name that we founded. I worked for 6 CEOs in 7 years.
Oh my God.
So it was getting real dicey, right? We took $64 million in investment. We got the company up to about 28 million recurring, so that, but every time new money came in, everybody got diluted, right? Sure, so the options that I had when I first started were kind of gone. So I had my eyes open looking for something else. And Servigistics came along, and I joined those guys. And they were a lot of guys from I2, part of that group. And the folks were, doing inventory management for service people out in the field, right? So how much inventory do you keep on a van for a guy who's going to service, appliances or what have you, right? So after that, I got recruited into Plex Systems, right?
Okay.
And Plex Systems...
we see them on 75 and
75 right there, Crook
Square Lake. Yeah,
exactly. CMU on one side and Plex on the other.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, they came out with a really cool application, and it really kind of, when we did Supply Solution, we had the iSupply product. We kind of wanted to be an ERP system, but we didn't have the DNA to do that.
Right.
And this other guy locally who came out of a company that's now a metal forming company under American Axle started Plex Systems. And they had built a suite of applications on a single code base that was a hosted application that, connected right to the shop floor. It was shop floor centric to begin with, where most ERP systems were financial systems, right? And then manufacturing was the afterthought. But we were a true MES, and they still are. Rockwell Automation ended up purchasing Plex Systems, so they're now under that umbrella. But it's been an interesting run in manufacturing for sure. Seen lots of cool manufacturing facilities, lots of cool shop floors,
every time you ever talk about it, manufacturing, all they think about is like optimizing. Is this the never ending story, or is this like, I guess it's constant improvement? Like what's left? Cause I know like digital twin was like the big deal and which is kind of almost like, I don't know if that's like a crystal ball technology or how you would like.
You're trying to replicate things ahead of them happening physically, digitally, right? Right. I mean, that's the intent, right?
Like supply chain control tower. I see that a lot. Hey, if this thing routes through X, it's going to cause Y, which gives you the Z and saving or whatever speed.
Manufacturing has obviously been the heart of industry in the state for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've got various degrees of sophistication just because capital equipment's expensive is expensive. Right.
Sure.
So you'll have metal stampers out there running presses that are, 40, 50 years old, still running them, so there's analog equipment. If you're going to get information from the machines, you got to put a sensor on it to, tell when the machine cycles. So, when it powers up and it powers down, to kind of get that kind of thing. And so there's still a ways to go as far as improvements, right?
Well, you look at, if anyone's ever done the Rouge tour, I suggest go do it.
Yeah. We had a user conference out there.
$8.
Yeah. No, it's great.
And what's fascinating is it almost feels like you're in the 80s still.
Yeah.
Like from the old movies, like Gung Ho.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're looking at this and you're like, that human being or that pair of human beings has to live in a 10 by 10 invisible jail cell. That's kind of what I coined it as.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how you needed 2 hours worth of parts here. There needs to be 8 hours of parts there.
You bet.
Right. And then there's, so it's this constant flow of,
Yeah. And then you've got sequencing, right? Depending upon what the interior of the vehicle is going to look like, what trim's on and all that kind of stuff.
Well, then you have like Lear on a 4-hour SLA for seats, for example.
You bet. Yeah.
That when Flint, was making the Denali pickup.
Yeah.
And they say we need 100 seats, Lear has 4 hours. And when you start realizing this machine is, and God, how many countless hours of studying had to be done to get to that point.
Just crazy, right?
Right.
And the OEMs have always obviously wagged the tail of all the other suppliers, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they do, you got to follow, right? And,
Sure.
and ICE vehicles to EVs to back to ICE to hybrids and all that. To your point of, those just-in-time facilities, bringing all the suppliers like Lear into a business park that surrounds that assembly plant, right? So you have to have the warehousing, you have to have the logistics to be so close. But yeah, it's an amazing business, the automotive business, right? Because it's all driven by the consumer.
Right.
And if the demand isn't there, they're not, it goes back to marketing and the product and the costs. And there's a lot of pieces to it, right?
Talk about this. Like one of the issues I had, I'm not getting into political because I don't, but when you turn on and turn off a tariff, for example, you can't, factories aren't magic, right? So here you go saying, all right, we're going to have NAFTA. And now, okay, cool. I'm going to go build now in Costa Rica and Ecuador and Mexico or whatever, pick your country.
Yeah.
And it takes years.
It does.
And now you have the tariff on stuff coming back in. So they're like, cool, now we're going to start back in America.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to take years to turn it back on.
Well, fortunately, the OEMs had their teams out there, fighting for a retrieve, right, or a reprieve on the tariffs, and they got it last Friday.
Sure. Oh, did they really?
They did. Yeah, they got a 5-year reprieve on the tariffs. So that makes things a whole lot better for everybody.
Give me some runway.
Well, it takes 5 years, right? That's a freight train moving in that manufacturing 100%. Vehicles. You can't 100%. Just turn. Yeah, so it's better for everybody.
But what side? So now, in what you're doing now, consulting, you kind of got out of Plex.
Yeah.
Kind of, all this experience and all this, you're bringing new technologies to the manufacturing space. I guess talk to me about some of the stuff you're working on now, like modern technology.
Yeah.
What are some of the use cases on the stuff you're doing today? For
sure. So and again, I'm just going to go back to Plex a little bit. Yeah. After leaving there, I got recruited into IQMS, Dassault Systems, and I also worked for QAD. So I'd kind of done this route, with all these manufacturers.
Right.
Got to know the technologies that were on the floor and then the field, which customers were using them. So I learned a lot along the way. I took a pivot from Dassault Systems.
Are we allowed to say pivot still on the show, Randy? We said, all right, you're go ahead.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'll mark it on the list.
That's fine.
Okay. Two more and you're out though.
there should be a pivot limit.
It's pivot. It's all the buzzwords.
That's two. Right?
I heard paradigms yet.
We did this morning. Yeah. Somebody said it at the event.
So anyhow, I pivoted to a KUKA robotics integrator, and I think we were talking about robots a minute ago.
Yep.
But again, just cool technologies. It's emerging. I think they were talking. They had the guy from the Association for Automation or whatever kind of pitching today, A3 or whatever his group was.
Yeah.
And just how things have paused a little bit, but the trajectory is still there, right? For a lot of robots to be not only in manufacturing facilities, but into our homes as well.
Let's keep them damn dogs out of everything.
I don't know.
I don't like them. I don't want anything. I don't want any part of them.
I know.
And we're there.
Right. We are.
And if the thing brings me beer, I think that's going to be the key use case. Like, no, I don't want a damn dog. It'll bring you beer.
Okay, I have a dog.
Okay, maybe fine. I'll try one out.
Yeah.
Or you could get a real dog that already knows how to bring you a beer.
Golden retrievers are.
I've seen those on Instagram. They're out there. They're available.
Oh yeah.
They pull the towel that's hanging over
exactly.
the door handle, and
it's good training.
That's the same visual I was thinking of that time.
Right.
It's hilarious. So now I started my own business. So 3 years ago, I kind of decided, I'm at a point in my career. See if I can get something stoked up on my own.
Yeah.
I picked up, I've been kind of just taking a shotgun approach a little bit.
So let's dive into this real quick. So like a lot of people that I know, they always want to go do their own thing.
Yeah.
Not that they're scared.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we have a mortgage and 2 kids in college.
Yeah.
And, we've been talking about, I've been talking about like, I'd love to do my own for years now.
Yeah.
Ever, back in 01, I was talking about like the CIOs are dealing with all these sales reps. Why can't they just deal with one sales rep?
Exactly.
Like kind of vendor rep.
Right.
I talked about that all back then. Like, was that a scary jump? Or was that like, you're like.
No, it was a scary jump. But, I right, wrong, or indifferent, being an elderly dude in sales, right?
Yeah.
In every job I had previously, I got it through somebody I knew. Right?
Sure.
Somebody tapped me and said, hey, let's go do this.
Yeah.
And the taps really weren't coming, nor was I looking to get a tap. I wanted to be able to kind of get into something, just as you've said, right?
Yeah.
To be kind of a technology broker, if you will,
Sure.
to be a consultant, someone who knows the space, who can assess the current technologies coming down and see if there's a fit or a customer who might benefit from that.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what I did. I joined the Automotive Press Association, which was kind of cool. Gives me access to fireside chats with, the CEOs for the tier ones and the OEM manufacturers. Right. When I go to those events, I'll actually report on them. So I'll do an article, post it on my page just to give back. There's other people who weren't able to go. They can kind of, read up on it and see what the event was all about. And I'll do that today from the SIM thing too. But so I looked at some technologies. I was working with some startups. I like, all of the incubators that we have in this state, are really cool, man. There's some really cool companies down at the, Central Station over there. And Ann Arbor has quite a few. The Spark, New Lab. Yep. And so, I started attending quite a few of those, and I got introduced to a couple of AI companies, manufacturing AI companies. And, one of them really struck me as interesting in that it just looks at the PLC data or the SCADA data.
What's PL? For those,
like
me, I don't know what that.
The controllers of the machines itself, right?
Okay.
So
what does it stand for?
Programmable language.
Oh,
PLC controller.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyhow, the AI really consumes all the data, looks for pattern recognition in the data, right? So if this event happened previously, and PLCs give you all kinds of alerts and alarms, and typically operators might look at 6 of them, temperatures and pressures and, whatever, throughput as far as counting production. But all those other alarms just don't make sense to them. And so it really kind of set it up self. AI was a good solution for that environment.
So almost like, I don't want to say like machine learning for like a SOC or a NOC. That's kind of like just bringing it back to how I understand things.
Exactly.
Getting rid of the noise, looking for anomalies and what's weird. Yeah, fair.
Exactly. So, and this one company they found, they're out of Milwaukee. They had a customer in Braun Newtone, which Ken Garfinkel's the CIO, which is a great guy. I've known Ken throughout my career. I reached out to Ken. He's like, Tim, this is really awesome. I don't do a thing. It's a subscription service. It's X amount of dollars per month, saving me a ton of money per month. My machines are always running. I got good throughput, So I worked with those guys. Then I found another one that was pitching a company called Arch Systems. And what struck me about these guys, they take a very similar approach, but they have a human-centric element to it as well. So where the operators can actually add input to the database files to improve it, right? Okay. And that works with the AI to give a better outcome for keeping the machines running. Companies like Plexus and Jabil have rolled out their solution globally, right? So it's beyond the test and the pilot. They've totally embraced it, right? So this excites me. These guys are out of Stanford, the PhDs, machine learning AI guys out of Stanford.
Right.
And they're doing some cool stuff. But, it takes a while for those guys to get lifted and up and above the radar, right? So I'm trying to help promote.
Well, I also, to bring up Jake Brown twice on this, the keynote, he was like, I don't want to go on the roller coaster the first year. Wait till it's like 3 years running. Right. So I think it's the same, the metaphor for technology too. We're like, I don't ever buy soft 1.0 version, V.1. So like, is that kind of the, it's past all, it's already been, because again, there's that whole technology adoption roadmap too.
There is.
Like you got a few that'll go dive in, but
Yeah. Well, and we were
typically because the vendor will give them to them for 90 off as long as they're allowed.
That's it. And boy, back in the day when the .com was going, when we were pitching our companies, we'd have customers come to us who wanted a piece of the company and even a rev share beyond that, right? So, I think that's long gone, particularly if you've got private equity or venture capital money today. They're not doing that, But yeah.
So what are some of the other technologies you're dealing with?
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, I've got this e-paper technology that I'm working with now. So it's the same technology. It's electronic price shelf labels in retail, right? And so if you think of Walmart, in fact, Walmart's deploying these out to all their stores in North America. So instead of having that little smiley face sticker, for the Charmin or whatever it is, it's all going to be digital now, right?
I don't like it already. You want to know why? I want to call it out.
Yeah.
They're going to do the on-demand pricing.
Sure they are.
They're going to go like
sure
Uber.
they are.
They're going to go starting to do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, they have cameras watching you when you walk in the door, and then you get up to a price terminal and it shows the price for you.
Is that right?
Do you know what I heard that Amazon's doing?
They're testing it.
If you look at, and there was an article on it, and I got to find it. Like if you look at something 5 times, they will alter the price or they'll make it higher. Because I know there's a few things I buy on the regular and it's never the same price twice.
They just had Prime Days 2 weeks ago and everything jumped up a week beforehand so they could drop it back down to the regular.
Well, I mean,
price
that's an art van sale since I've been a kid.
Yeah.
50% off it. You double the price. But it was something to do with if you look at something 4 or 5 times, like the cookie season, you keep going back.
That's like
I was going to say the same thing. You go on Delta if you want to check out a flight.
Maybe it was airplane tickets.
It's got it.
I think if you looked at that's totally what it was. It wasn't Amazon. It was if you looked at the airplane price.
Yeah. Look on your phone versus look on your computer.
Yeah. You got to do a roundabout. You got to do like a Google Flight thing. Don't go to the carrier themselves because they're tagging.
I always go to Google Flight.
Yeah, that's where you got to start.
So, but I mean, with that, are they surge? I just know surge pricing will be like a thing. Like, is it if it's an hour before like a big football game, all of a sudden Coke goes up $1 and Doritos go up $1 and pizza rolls go up $1?
Yeah.
You know,
that could be. What
is the range on those type of things? Do you have to do them individually, or can you do it like store wide all at once?
No, you can do them all at once. You could do every store at once, right? You can pick a product and go boom, flash the price and change it instantly. But again,
because they have the bars that will drop the price if like they haven't sold some like crappy raspberry sour beer that Randy likes. They'll drop the price by $1 to try to move it, and then if
I went to a bar like that somewhere.
Yeah, there was one here in Detroit. The Beer Exchange had like a price ticker, and
there's one in Kazoo.
Yeah.
Everyone's buying PBR because their like softball game just got let out. Then their price goes up.
Yep,
stupid.
That's something they're trying to get rid of because it's not selling. They drop.
I like math, but that's too much math for me, especially when I'm drinking beer.
So anyway, I'm taking this technology into manufacturing facilities, right? And if you think about all of the paper that gets printed today for barcodes, for labels, for part numbers, for work centers, for everything else, right? Has to change every time there's a new model change or if there's an engineering change on the part, right? So these displays, kind of sit out there and they can just push information directly to it from their ERP system or their, inventory management system.
Right.
They've got LEDs that kind of flash, right? So you can kind of
QR code so you can scan.
Yeah. You can use it as an easy order. So it does the transaction back into the system, right? So I want 10 pieces. You click on it, order confirmed. And it's
wouldn't those be like hundreds of thousands of those? Like if you look at it like a manufacturing, like a warehouse?
Could be. They're not using it. Well,
where does that thing break even? Because I'm thinking if you're looking at it, I'll just print because print cost me a nickel. Like where's the break even on that?
Well, that's a great question, and I honestly don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've got this thing coming up at Stellantis. They do this factory booster day once a year. I think they've been doing it for about 10 years now, a little longer, and it's coming up next week. So, they have an interest because they just print so much darn paper, and they've got sustainability goals, right? So they want it. It's paper and ink, and it's the labor that it takes to go around the facility and peel those off and re-sticker them and all that kind of stuff. So we're figuring that out. I think there's a business case there. I know some of my suppliers are currently starting to use these now. My suppliers, the auto suppliers.
Right.
And they use them for replenishment line side, right? So operator at a work center needs more material. He'll press a button. The material handler will get the notification, go to the warehouse, look for the flashing blue light because that matches the part, whatever, visually, kind of a thing.
Reminds me of when Amazon did those button to orders, which never
buttons,
made sense to me. They had one for all we wanted was a Slim Jim one for our old podcast studio.
Yeah.
And just to push the button, I'm like, the problem is after 6 PBRs, we would be pushing it. There would be 22 boxes of Slim Jims on Monday morning at our studio. It never made sense to me. Like, how hard is it to open up my phone if I need more Tide?
Or
do I need
your Alexa or whatever?
Yeah.
Do I need a Tide pen? Like, I don't want my 4-year-old going, Alexa.
I think they had settings where you could be like,
totally
once I
did.
push it, don't order it until the order comes or whatever. But I guess the idea was like, you're in the laundry room, the laundry detergent's right there. You use the last of it, you push the button. Yeah. When you remember it, you don't have to walk out to the kitchen and write on your list or add it to your list. It's on the phone or whatever. You just push the button and you're done.
It goes back to that needed to get pitched in a boardroom and someone had to say yes and then someone had to make it. And like that process. Anyway, I digress. That's not that.
It's not that.
It reminded me of the Amazon button. But again, though, I think was this, you brought up, because I wasn't even thinking sustainability goals, and I know that's on everybody's.
Oh, yeah.
You look at anybody's 10K, that's part of it.
Yeah.
And if you can just, we eliminated 47 million tons of paper by putting digital readers.
But then how long do those last? How much electricity?
So they're wireless. They're battery. They got little LCD batteries in there, right? And they last 5 to 7 years. Before you have to change them. Yeah. The only time they consume power is when they're flashing a new image on there. Once the image is on there, it's not using any power.
Right. I mean, it looks like it doesn't look. It's not a phone like display. No. It looks like a calculator almost.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think you can kind of peel off and see the batteries in the back.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, but if you tell like a Stellantis, this thing pays itself off in a year, and you get to hit your sustainability goals.
I think it's close to that, to be honest. I mean, I'll be real curious to see how that works out. But
right.
I mean, obviously, it's got to make a business sense to do it, right?
Yeah, sure. So, in terms of, I know you dab it a little bit in the other AI tools. So, what else? What else are you working on?
Well, I ran across this really cool one a couple of years ago, and it's I know you didn't want to use that word, but it's an agentic AI solution.
Sorry, I'll allow it.
Sorry. That works inside of LinkedIn. And there's actually a few companies out there that popped out and do this. The guy that I found was a startup, and he must have posted something someplace on LinkedIn, and I saw it or responded to it, right?
Sure.
Anyhow, it works inside of LinkedIn, and you can set up, whatever targeted database you want to go after. Either you input it or you go to your LinkedIn Navigator and do a filtered search from there to come up with your, set of folks that you want to reach out to, either by title, by geography, by company, industry, whatever. And then you set up this tool to run, and it just runs, and it works within the confines of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn says you can only do 60 outbound messages for new requests,
right?
Whatever it is, So it works with the parameters of all of that. And you can either set up a sequence of contacts, or the AI will actually look at the recent posts by that individual, as well as the work history, and just initiate a conversation, based on what it sees there. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's kind of funky, It's a little beta version right now.
There needs to be like a check on a check on a check for the LinkedIn messages, because the ones that I can't imagine what a CISO or CIO goes through.
Mm-hmm.
If they even look at their inbox anymore. But the crap I get, like we help, women founders such as you, and I would reply like, "Oh, I'm a woman," and then no one ever responds when I call them out.
Yeah.
Like IT and the D or something about, they'll make a comment on like, have you ever looked at what we do?
Yeah.
And like, that's what I'm saying. Like for these things that just go out and scrape.
Well,
that's to have like a double check or like just confirm
it. I even get stuff like that for IT and the D. They think we're a staffing agency. Yeah. And so they reach out to me about like, hey, we can help with your staffing needs. I'm like,
well, I mean,
one, you think I'm a staffing agency, but then two, you're going to help me do my job completely. Like, I don't know what.
Right.
Plus, we're not a staffing agency.
Which is what I'm saying. Like a one double check would be like, oh yeah, this isn't not saying this isn't a real company, but we couldn't be any louder about, what we do. Anyway, that just have to beef about LinkedIn every once in a while.
No, I think when we went through the pandemic, everyone was forced to work remotely, right? And then everybody's email boxes just blew up, inboxes, right?
Brought email back from the dead and QR codes.
Right?
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
QR codes were dead.
And then it destroyed them though, right? I mean, because do people even answer emails any longer? I'm sure they do.
They do. It's still very.
You know, the thing that challenges me is in Microsoft, they split it for you, right?
Yeah.
What's focused and what's not, you know?
Yeah.
And I only stay in the focus lane.
I only do too.
I never go on the other side. And I miss a bunch of shit.
I do too. I got
You
caught.
have to pop over there periodically to train it.
Yeah.
And it does learn.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is it because you're dragging stuff over and
You can
flipping
say
it?
move to focus inbox or whatever, and then
But
it will
you know
start
what?
learning. But yeah.
What I did is the way I changed the way I email. Typically it's a task request or it's informative. Yeah. Right. Informative. Like there's always a call, like whatever that call to action is. If I'm sending something out going, no, you know, this is just for your information. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't cold outreach though. Yeah. Like I haven't cold outreached. I can't even tell you when the last time I did that. And if I do, it's very personalized, and it's not, you know, I'll get, I love the work you're doing at, you know, fill in the blank.
Yeah. Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And find the last post, you know what I'm saying? There's, you know, good ways to, there's better ways to like, and again, if there was a double check on that for AI, I'm all about it. But I haven't seen it yet. I just don't want my name on something that like, if it spits out something not right.
Right.
Like, come on, you know, you only get so many at bats.
Well, I mean, that's true. So you have to kind of, and that's the other thing. It's a tool that is generating conversations on behalf of you.
Yeah.
But you have to monitor it, right? So if somebody's going to,
scary,
you know what I mean? And honestly,
they need to make it for Facebook Marketplace when you're trying to sell something. That would be amazing.
Mercy. Yeah.
Is this still available? Yeah, it's still available.
It's still available.
Will you $10 and will you deliver it to me? No, I'm not going to sell you this $300 pool table for $10 and deliver it to you. That would be fantastic. Because I tried to give away when I bought my daughter's Jetta. It was used, and they had a set of winter tires and normal tires. Yeah. And when we moved, we got a set of 4 tires, and we never swapped them out. So we're just like, you know what?
I'm not moving these.
If anybody needs 4 tires and rims, just the hell of getting someone to come over and take these 4 tires. And finally, some really nice man was like, I really could use these. And I work on car. I'm like, he goes, I'll be here in 10 minutes. Yeah. And after 30 messages and someone saying I'll be there, but I'm on running errands, I'm like, he's probably picking up free stuff all day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So anyway, I digress. So how do we find you online?
So tmburke.com is my website, or my LinkedIn profile, Tim Burke.
At Burke Associates and Burke Group.
Burke Group. Yeah, I got a LinkedIn page for the Burke Group too.
It's an old joke we have with Tom Lawrence with Lawrence Systems. So we're like, anytime like your name is your name. We're like, well, how do you find you?
Yeah.
But Tim, seriously, appreciate not only just your friendship, but coming out here, hanging out, talking. I always love a little bit of a history lesson on kind of different paths. Like we all no one took the same path twice, but it's always funny. We always we're here right now, so it's kind of
for sure.
I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, thank you guys, man. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to wrap things up for this episode of the IT and the D Show. On behalf of Bob and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.